Hey, what's up, you guys? Mark here. Today, I want to talk about Dogecoin. Specifically, I want to counter the two most common reasons as to why skeptics see no value in Dogecoin. One being that it has an infinite supply, and two, that it has infinite inflation. Then I want to go over why Dogecoin does have a future, why it carries value, and before that, I want to explain how to calculate the coin's current value and what it would take to hit $1. And later on, I'll go over just how high Dogecoin can actually go up to. So, for starters, if you somehow don't know about Dogecoin yet, it's an altcoin. An altcoin is anything that isn't Bitcoin. It was created in 2013, and it was made for fun. It was a meme. It was just a joke coin with a Shiba Inu on the coin. So it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but I think it's time to change that because a lot of people have been making profit on Dogecoin, making good money on it. So its last high was 2 cents back in 2017. Its current high was about 9 cents this year, 2021. And digital coin price actually sees that its average price by the end of 2021 will be about 8 cents. And we're going to use that to calculate Dogecoin's current value and compare it to Bitcoin a little bit here. So if you don't know, Bitcoin was also worth 5 cents at one point, and now it's worth over $40,000 a coin. It actually just hit like $50,000 or over $50,000 a few days ago. Anyways, currently in circulation, there's 128 billion Dogecoins. And this is important because the market cap is the true value of any coin or any stock. And to calculate the market cap, you would basically multiply the price per coin times the circulation supply. And that will give you its true value. So Dogecoin's currently valued at 8 cents. Let's just use that 8 cents from digital coin price, which is what they think it's going to be by the end of the year, right? The average price. So it's 8 cents multiplied by 128 billion, which will give you a $10 billion market cap. So that is Dogecoin's true value. So Bitcoin is currently, we're going to use $40,000. Bitcoin is currently valued at $40,000 times the 18 billion coins in supply, and that'll give you its true value of $763 billion. So to answer right away what it would take for Dogecoin to hit $1, it would have to be a $1, right? That would be the price per coin times the circulation supply, which is 128 billion. It would have to reach a market cap of 128 billion dollars. So if it's currently at 10 billion, 128 billion market cap minus 10 billion is 118 billion dollars. So we'd need to have $118 billion invested into Dogecoin, which a lot of people think is a lot, but I think they're thinking of only the United States. Dogecoin isn't only available in the US, it's a global coin. You can buy it from around the world. So when you look at something like $128 billion market cap and compare that to something like Bitcoin, that's about a seventh of the price, right? So anyways, let's move on to Dogecoin capping itself. As it is not a 5% inflation, there is a static amount. Well, back then when there was only 100 billion coins, the inflation rate was 5%, right? And we'll go over what the percent is right now. So it is not a 5% inflation. There is a static amount of 5.256 billion coins generated each year. We're going to round this up to about 5 billion coins a year. The total amount will increase each year, but the amount generated, that being 5 billion, is static. This means that the inflation rate is actually constantly decreasing each year, and it will eventually have less inflation than even fiat, which is the world's currency, and will continue to decrease. Basically, the total number of coins will continue to increase 5 billion a year, but the amount generated per year will always be the same. For example, 5 billion coins were added this year, so now there's 128 billion coins. 5 billion divided by a total of 128 billion gives you your inflation rate, right? That's 3.9%. Next year, 5 billion divided by 133 billion will give you 3.7%. And then the year after that, it's 138 billion, or 5 divided by 138 billion, which is 3.6%. So as you can see, the inflation rate actually decreases each and every year. Not only that, Dogecoins are constantly lost. Either people forget their passwords or computer failures or something of that sort. So the price is relatively stable, and our network is stable due to not having a hard cap on coins, and we actually have a soft deflationary model. So for those of you that are saying Dogecoin is unlimited, it's permanently inflationary, you're right and you're wrong, right? So Dogecoin has a supply inflation. Dogecoin's inflation is currently 3.9% per year, and it falls every year. This is as of right now, 2021, right? Over time, the supply is eventually going to fall into an arbitrarily low, as low as a trillionth of a year. That's obviously down the road, but it'll never be 0%. The inflation will never be 0%. It's just going to be really small. So, and again, there's always coins that are lost due to abandoned dust, formatted drives, lost keys, and at some point, and maybe already, those lost coins will outweigh the new supply. Therefore, Dogecoin is a deflationary coin. So think of it like this, just to make it a little more simple for those of you that are either new to crypto or don't understand how coins are mined. I want you to think of it like this. Let's say that we used feathers to pay for goods and that we collect 5 billion new feathers a year, and that there's currently 128 billion feathers available, right? However you get those feathers, you pluck them from birds, whatever it is, we're making 5 billion a year. We're collecting 5 billion a year, okay, globally. Now, to calculate the inflation rate of this, of the feathers, right? So it would be the increase of feathers per year divided by the total amount of feathers, and that'll give you the percentage of inflation. So in this case, again, 5 billion feathers divided by 128 billion feathers gives you 3.9% of inflation. Right away, you can see that inflation percentage will decrease yearly because next year, 2022, it would be 5 billion feathers divided by 133 billion feathers, which is 3.7%. 10 years from now, it would be 178 billion feathers. And again, 5 billion divided by 178 is 2.8% inflation rate. So you're already below 3% within 10 years from now. So feathers are lost all the time because maybe the wind makes them fly away, or they drown under the water, or they fall into a fire and get burnt up and never be, resurrected again. Regardless, the feathers disappear. The more that disappear, the less there are, thus raising the value of what's available. And this is similar to altcoins, okay? So Dogecoin is designed to increase its supply at a set absolute rate. This guarantees that for a long time, the supply will increase at a fairly steady rate. So why is this important, Mark? There's one major reason as to why. This is the reason as to why Dogecoin can actually turn into a usable currency. An infinite amount of Doge allows it to more closely mimic the real world currency. Dogecoin has a cap, and that cap is 10,000 per block. It is not like fiat, which lacks a cap because the supply can be adjusted at any point. Doge's new supply is fixed eternally at 10K per block. This amounts to 3.9% supply inflation in 2021, and every year it gets lower, but never gets to literally 0%. So Mark, that's great and all, but I just want to know, is getting Dogecoin increased to the equivalent of $1 possible? Can and will it really happen? What will change if it does happen? And how high can Dogecoin realistically rise in price? So I'm going to answer that right now. So market cap explanation in comparison to U.S. currency and global fiat currency. Yes, despite not having a fixed or capped supply, the value of the currency can rise based on its relative value against other currencies in the market. You can find examples of this in the Forex market. So I don't know how many of you trade Forex, but this is exactly how it's done. Where in Forex, currency pairs are traded, like euro against the U.S. dollar, the U.S. dollar against the yen, whatever other currencies there are, right? So as the value of Dogecoin rises, more and more businesses will recognize its potential and importance and subsequently begin to accept it in exchange for goods and services. There's already examples of this going on around the nation, around the world probably. I'm going to let you guys do that research yourself, but people are accepting Dogecoin as a form of payment, just like Bitcoin is being accepted as a form of payment for services. This will help to grow the developer community around Dogecoin. So again, market cap is equal to the price multiplied by the supply, right? So price is determined by supply and demand. Buying and selling of Dogecoin, how much people are willing to at least. Supply is determined by mining Dogecoin. So these two numbers can change based on the market conditions. However, the supply is fixed and increasing at a rate of 5 billion approximately per year. The current supply of Dogecoin, 128 billion. So for purposes of this explanation, the rate of increase is negligible. If Dogecoin was to reach $1, it would have a market cap of $128 billion. Right, we did that earlier. Bitcoin, the most successful cryptocurrency, currently has a market cap of about $763 billion, right? This means that at $1, the total supply of Dogecoin would be worth 1/7 of Bitcoin's total supply. The estimated supply of the US dollar is $2 trillion. Since $1 is equal to $1, the market cap of the US currency is $2 trillion. So if Dogecoin were to reach this market cap, the price can be calculated through dividing the market cap. If Dogecoin were to reach this market cap, the price can be calculated through dividing the market cap 2 trillion by the supply 128 billion. So this means that Dogecoin would equal the entire US currency at $15.60 a share. Okay, this is definitely not impossible, but highly improbable to ever reach this value anytime soon. I'm talking maybe 10 years, right? Something along those lines. Maybe less, but I'm going to say about 10 years. So $15.60. That's if it were to take the entire U.S. currency. Now, the entire supply of the world's fiat currency is currently $37 trillion. So you can apply the same logic from above and see that the value of Dogecoin, if it were to take the entire $37 trillion from the global currency, that would bring Dogecoin up to $288.60 per share. This is the theoretical limit to how much Dogecoin can be worth due to simply the fact that if it was valued at any more than that amount, it would be worth more than the entire world's currencies combined. and that's just not possible without adding more supply, right? So if you're confused by all this and just want to make an argument about Dogecoin having no value because it has an infinite supply, the easy way for me to counter that is, does the currency where you, for your country, have no value? Does it have no supply? Think about it, right? The dollar is an infinite amount. You can print it over and over and over again as much as you want. The euro, the British pound, the Swiss franc, the Canadian dollar, you name it, all of it is inflationary. So to argue this is just hypocritic if you find value in your currency that you use. I think that's all I've got to say about Dogecoin and why I'm still very bullish on it, and why it does have value. So with that said, are you ready to Doge?